Hello, 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 hello again. This is Els, coming from Bemis Crafty Corner, and this is part 2 of the faux leather traveler's oversized traveler's notebook. Okay, I got the first part done. That's got, making it's got the deconstruction of the original books, the reconstruction of the signatures, the new covers, the pockets, and sewing the new signatures in. And then I stopped because it got too long. And so now this is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch part 1. If you already know how to do all of that, then don't worry about it. Just start on part 2. But that's it. We're going to pick up here where we left off on the last one. And I believe that's going to be cutting our faux leather and our liner and getting ready to put that all together. Okay? So without further ado, let's get back into this. Okay. Based on the paper that I used, I chose the red faux velvet, the faux suede, and this reproduction flour sack, because these are great combos, but they just don't work with the paper. So we're going to work with these. So I'm going to take my piece of faux suede, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have enough to cover my books and have about a 2-inch flap. So it looks like we can take about 1 inch off of here, and that should get us to, about where we want to be. Like that. And then about so I think we're just going to take about that much off. Okay? So let's start with that. Fabric scissors here. And we'll cut this straight, with a ruler and all that stuff when I'm done. At this point, it's just about getting it to the rough size. Okay, and then we need it to be about 8 inches. Roughly. So. I'm going to grab this marker. It's a special marker. It disappears when you get it wet. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of put that there. And then I'm going to put my ruler here. Take this part off. Okay. So now I have a general guide, and I'm going to trim this down. Now I can't cut paper straight to save my butt, but I can cut fabric pretty straight. This one. Right about there. Okay. Go. going to get this straightened up just a little bit more. And you know, it's a traveler's notebook, so the idea is it doesn't have to be perfect. And now that I have this at a reasonable size, let me get out my rotary cutter. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and test and see if this fits around all three of our books. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to cut a piece of our material. It's roughly the same size. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now I have this cut, and the next thing is going to be to cut my fusible interface. Okay. Let's see if it's long enough this way. Oh, just barely. Okay. Fusible interface. I'm going to cut a piece of this. And when I come back, we're going to fuse this together, and then we are going to get this book assembled. Okay? Let me see here. I'll take this little piece off the end here. All right, so I'll be back with the iron and we'll get this put together. Be right back. Let me begin by saying I'm sorry that you can't see everything. But, you know, I can't move the camera. So I'm going to lightly press my cotton just to get the wrinkles out. And then I'm going to take my piece of heat and bond. I'm going to place that right over the top. Lining it up. And then I'm going to press that on. And what I do is I usually put the iron on it and count to like 3. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And I just kind of go over the whole thing until I get it adhered. It's a fairly quick process. Now, I do have the iron set on a cotton setting for this. Because that is the highest temperature I can use on this flour sack. And then I'm going to peel the two pieces apart. What I'm looking for is for this to be very shiny and smooth. And if it has any bumps in it, then I'm going to keep ironing it. It takes about 5-10 minutes to get it completely adhered all the way. Fantastic. Then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then I'm going to place my faux leather down. I'm going to put my piece of fabric on top of it, lining everything up as cleanly and neatly as I can with the wrong sides together. And then I'm going to press this. Now this is quick. This doesn't take long at all. Okay? And we just want to make sure that we're not melting the faux leather. Okay? Okay, now once I have this adhered, and if you don't have this and you have some spray adhesive, like quilt binding adhesive, you could use that absolutely, okay? All right, now I'm gonna let this cool. I'm gonna get out my sewing machine and I'm gonna sew around the edge once I trim it up to make sure, because I've got a little overhang, you know. I'm going to go ahead and sew around this in a zigzag stitch and bind it on here. But before you guys see it again, I'm going to come back and show you how to do a blanket stitch so that you can do this by hand if you don't have a sewing machine. Okay? I'll be right back. All right, so if you're going to do this by hand, I'm going to use some yellow thread so that it shows up on the fabric. You would start by slipping your needle between the two pieces. Okay? And that's so that you can hide your knot. And then you're going to come around, watch this, you're going to come around to the other side, take a stitch again, and then go through your loop. Okay? Take another stitch, pull your needle out, go through your loop. Okay? Take another stitch. Take your needle out, go through your loop. Okay? And this is called a blanket stitch. And you can see what it does is it lines up the thread right along the top edge. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Okay? So you would do this all the way around. And you're taking these stitches about every 1/4 of an inch. And you just want to go all the way around from the back to the front through your loop. Okay, so you can see on the front what this looks like. Okay, so that is the hand stitch. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop out of here for a second, and I'll be back with the machined version, and we'll get that lined up and ready to go. I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I zigzagged all the way around, and I used some black thread just so it stands out a little bit. You can take a look there. See? I like it to stand out. And the next thing we're going to be doing is figuring out where we need to put our holes to put in our ties. So I'm going to place my books, move my flap. I'm comfortable with that. I like this much layover. So we're going to open this up. I'm going to hold my books in place, and we're going to put in some dots. Again, I'm just using that fabric pen. We're going to put one in the middle and one on either end. Okay. So now I'm going to get out my big bite, and we're going to pop some holes. I'll be right back. All right. If you don't have a big bite, there's a couple of ways to do this. I usually do it with a little bit smaller of a tool. All right, so I'm going to pop through there, and I'll probably have to use my scissors because that is got a lot of string on it. Right about there. Okay, so let me turn this over, and I'm just gonna use my scissors to trim those out. Then I'm gonna set some eyelets in here. I think we'll go with black. Okay. Now for the ones on the ends, I can use the little tool. So I'm just going to place the eyelet through the hole. Let me get this on camera so we can all see what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to place the eyelets through the hole. Okay, and then on this side I'm going to put this little gasket. All right, and then put my pliers on it and squeeze it. Okay. Oh, well, we lost the gasket. That's okay. We'll do it without the gasket. I'm going to still see if I can get it on this side. Okay. Eyelet there. Press. Huh. Didn't take the eyelet on that side either. That is so weird. Or it's under there. All right, and then we're going to do the one in the middle. For that one, I'm going to use the big bite. making sure I have it set on the right thing, because I'd hate to put this in there and go like that and have the piece come down, you know. So put this in. And I'm going to set that. So now I have 3 eyelets in there. And then when I come back, we're going to put in the elastic. I'll be right back. All right, normally I would use an elastic like this. Or even this one to do a traveler's notebook. But since the books are considerably larger, I ran out and I grabbed this, which is 1/8 of an inch elastic. And we're going to use some of this instead. So I ran out to the shop and I pulled this out real quick so we could use this. So let me get a piece of this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go down, and this is just literally just the top and bottom hole. Okay. And then we're going to put the second one in. And when we put the next one in, when we bring it up, we're going to make sure that we're on the same side. Okay? So we don't want to come up on the other side of that one. We want to come up on the same side of it as we went down. Okay? And we're going to do it one more time. Down through the top and back up through the bottom. And we don't want to pull this so tight that we bend the fabric, but we are going to want to have a little tension on it, okay? Then into the middle, and this is where we're going to put a little tension. And then we're going to go ahead and cut this. It cuts so easy the first time. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a twisting knot here. Cut off those tails. Okay. And if I think it's too loose, I'll just make the knot a little tighter. Well, that did not work. Hold on, I got my knot screwy. Take that knot off. Okay. All right, now straighten that out. There we go. I've got a little bit of tension, but not too much. All right. And then we're going to take this one, and this is going to become our tie. So we're going to get a button for that, and I think I'm going to put a charm on this one, and then, you know, we'll put it all together. So I'm going to get a button, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a nice button, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the two ends of my elastic through the button. Now I had to use a big button because I have to have, you know, it needs to have a bigger hole to get this bigger elastic through it. But that's okay because my books are bigger. Everything here is bigger, you know. Normally I use a very tiny button to do this, but normally I'm threading a very tiny lace, a very tiny elastic. This one, not so much. All right, so I'm just going to thread that through there. I'm not going to tie anything just yet. All right. Books. At the center. Through the first one. And my middle book. At the center. Through my next piece of elastic. Now you can see as we're putting in each book, we're getting a little bit of tension here. And then the last one. At the center. Okay. All right, so now I have all 3 books in. I'm going to take this over and this. And now what I want to do is I want to figure out how big this piece of elastic needs to be. So I'm just going to stand this up. And here we go. Right about there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to take one piece of the elastic out because I have this button that I want to use. So, yeah, I want to use this button. I want to put a closure on here and I want it to look pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my elastic through the hole in the center. And I want this to be away from, so I'm actually holding those out of the way. Okay. And then I'm going to thread this elastic through the button that I want to use. And then I'm going to make sure that I have it on there so that when I put this on, it's in the right direction. And then I'm going to feed this back through the hole. So complicated. Then back through my button. Brain damaged. If you cut your elastic at an angle, it actually makes it easier to put it through there. Okay, then I'm going to take my 2 pieces, put a knot in them, then I'm going to bring this through. There we go. Okay, now close this one, bring my elastic around, there's my button. And there's my closure. Okay, so that's it. That's my giant size traveler's notebook. Let's take a look. So overall, this thing is about 8 1/4, 8 3/8 tall. and it's about 6.5 inches wide, and it's a good inch thick. It has much larger pages than normal. We put this one in upside down. We'll have to turn it over. But, you know, that gives you more space to write, take notes, and things like that. And then over here, you know, you've got your full calendar in there. And lots of pockets and space. I love these up front here. Let's see, where's my tags? I usually have a tag here that I can do this with. But, yep, here it is. I knew it was here someplace. So, you know, we've got these slot pockets for the tags. Oh, this one's upside down. I'll have to fix that. But, you know, you've got slot pockets that you can put things into. And on this one, upside down, of course, front and back, you have a nice big pocket here. You have a little tuck pocket here. Then you have a nice, huge, deep pocket over here. And this one in the back is gusseted, so you have a lot of extra room back here to put whatever it is that you need to put in. Right? I'm going to fix this right now because that is just annoying me. There. So much better. Okay. And then this comes over, and there's your closure, your other flap, and then your closure just goes right around it. Doop, 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 doop. And you got that cute little button in the front. That's it. That's all I got. So, if you're new here and you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that button for me and subscribe, like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends, and then your friends can be my friends, and my friends can be your friends, and we can all be friends. Check the community tab here on the YouTube channel. Everything that I got going on in my digital world is in there. If I'm traveling, it's going to tell you that I'm traveling and where I'm going. So, you know, if you want to hang out and do a little scavenger with me or whatever, you can let me know if I'm coming to your area. You could tell me that you live in a specific area, and maybe I'll come that way. Who knows? What else? What else? Oh, yeah. I got a Facebook group. You might want to join that. There's links in the description box below. My hashtag challenge of 2024 is going on, and that has got some links going on down there as well. But until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.